Okay, so this question involves basic ideas, but it's really quite complicated in terms of what it involves. It involves a bit of proportion, it involves rearrangement, and it involves giving answers in terms of pi. Okay, so there's quite a lot to do, and it's understanding what to do is really important. Okay, now I've got Mr. White in now, so if anyone knocks on the door, he can handle that, and I'll just get this video done because I need it done. Right, so it's saying that this empty container is going to be filled with salt, and after 5 hours of filling, it will be 6 meters high. So imagine the salt being filled. It's going to go 6 meters high, so it will be 2 meters higher than the cone. So just imagine the height of this salt, and it'll be there. Okay, so we've got a cone of salt and this sort of weird little cylinder of salt there. Okay, which we know the height is of 2. Okay, and we know it took 5 hours. So what we're going to try and do is work out this volume first for 5 hours, and then use that because we know after 9 hours the whole thing was full, and we can figure out this height. So there's quite a bit to it. So the volume of the cone we've been given by this formula, and this little cylinder, I keep napping it up, it's just like a prism. So a prism, if you find the cross-sectional area, you can just times it by the length. So this one will be pi r squared, because that's the area of this bit, the circle face, and then times it by the height. So that'll be pi r squared h. And this one we know is going to be third pi r squared h for the volume of the cone. So I'm going to work those out now and see what I can do with this idea of it took 5 hours to do this volume. But because it's saying I want the answer in a fraction simplest form, I'm not going to use a calculator because it wants me to be accurate. It means I'm not going to work out pi as a decimal. It wants me to keep it as a pi. Okay, so I'm going to do a third times pi times by the radius. It does say in the question that's 3. So 3 squared times by the height in this one is 4. And I'm going to add to that this, which is pi times 3 squared times by the height of this little cylinder that we worked out to be 2. Okay, so I'm going to take some time to work this out. So I've got a third times by pi times by 9 times by 4. I've just done the power there. Add pi times by 9 times by 2. So in both of these I just did the powers. And that leaves me a third times pi times 36 for the volume of the cone. Add 18 pi for the volume of this little cylinder. Now I can cancel out this third and the 36 so that the fraction is going to affect this number. So a third of 36 is just 12. That's what will happen. Okay, so I'll get 12 pi add 18 pi. So the total volume so far, that took 5 hours, is 30 pi. Okay, and that seems weird, but if you just put 30 pi in a calculator, it is just a number. We're just leaving it as an accurate answer at the moment. Okay, now that 30 pi took 5 hours to do, and in the end it took 9 hours to do the whole thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is figure out the total volume of the full thing, and I can use this link now with the 5 hours being 30 pi because I can work out to do 9. So if I want to know the volume after 9 hours, if I do 1 hour I can turn it into 9 hours. So if I divide by 5 both sides, I'll get 6 pi per hour, and then to turn that into 9 I can times by 9. So I think it is, my brain's not working, what is it, 54 pi. So the whole volume is 54 pi. Okay, but so if you look at the shape, we already knew that up to here was 30 pi, and the whole thing is 54 pi. So this bit here, if we do 54 pi, take away 30 pi, I know that the remaining volume, that took 4 hours, this bit here, is 24 pi. So that entire volume of the pink bit there is 24 pi. Okay, and that is just a cylinder. So I know that this cylinder that I've got here, I'm doing that side for something. The cylinder at the top that I've got here, we know this is 3, the radius. We don't know the height of this yet, so we'll do that. We know that that is equal to 24 pi. So it's pi r squared, so pi times 3 squared times by the height we don't know, that'll equal 24 pi. Okay, this is all being multiplied together, so that's going to be a single term in the end, a single answer. And this is already a single term. What I'm doing there is that I know I can cancel out pi now, because it's going to be a single answer in the end. So 9x equals 24. Okay, and then if I divide that by 9 now, I know that it's 24 over 9, and that becomes 8 over 3. Well, that is the height of just this bit here. Okay, sorry, not that bit, just this bit here. Okay, not this arrow there. So that is 8 over 3. The whole height that I was actually looking for involves the 2 that it's already come up. So the 2 meters that it already rose will add to our new answer here and give us our final answer. So 8 over 3, add 2. Okay, it's very straightforward, and let's just do, you can do it in your calculator, this one. There's a calculator paper, I'm not going to waste any time. So 8 over 3, add 2, gives me 14 over 3. And that's the final answer as a fraction. So there was loads to it, and you can see that even I was struggling for space, and the amount of writing would have put you off. But once you get practice these questions, it's always the same sort of thing. The pi's cancel out, and you can use the answer. You can use the answer from here to feed into the calculation. It's quite straightforward. There's just loads to know, and it's difficult to organise yourself, so you're going to have to really practice those ones. But if you can do that one, you're pretty much set for your marks.